Hello everyone, welcome to this AI Product-a-thon session about building an audiobook generator from scratch. So in the previous sessions, we have seen how you can build an article recommendation engine, a AI-powered LMS, and a video search engine. Today we're going to look at, so you have your own PDFs and you want to build or generate an audiobook out of it. How can you do that using machine learning, particularly AI-powered APIs? That's what we're going to see. We're going to see tools like Google Cloud, technologies like MongoDB, Python, and see how all of this come together to build this AI product. The problem that we are trying to solve is, how can I create an audiobook out of my PDFs? Why? Why exactly is this a problem? Going through a PDF, scrolling from top to bottom, going through all those pages is a somewhat tiresome experience. In the sense, you can say, okay, I'm an avid reader, I can go through PDFs, but still, let us say if you are going out for a walk and you still want to probably read through some interesting articles, some interesting PDFs that you came across. How do you do that? Right now, the only way is you open that PDF on your laptop, probably even on a mobile, it's not that conducive because of the screen resolution and sizes. Now you have to come to your laptop, you have to be in front of your laptop to read a PDF. Imagine a day where you have a PDF and an assistant just reads out the PDF to you. Most important points, probably. You can even summarize the PDF and let the assistant speak to you. Maybe the assistant just calls you and tells you, okay, this is the content of the PDF. Wouldn't that be awesome? Right? That's exactly what we are trying to build here. So how can I create an audiobook out of PDF? And you have the process, how it is going to work is user uploads a PDF, and you can even choose an accent and voice. Do you prefer male voice, female voice? What kind of accent do you prefer? At we're going to use Google's Text-to-Speech API, and they support a wide variety of accents. Right? And for the sake of the product, we're going to look at American, British, and Indian accent, right? And we're also going to look at male and female voices. It's simple. You upload a PDF, choose an accent, generate the audiobook. So this is how the audiobook generator works. Let me quickly show you how the process actually works, right? So I come to this platform, phantomdrive.app, which lets you build this AI products or try out this AI products. I come to audiobook generator, and the PDF that I'm trying to look at is, let me just open up the PDF. So this is a PDF. So this PDF talks about how to conduct an interview with empathy. Like if you are a product manager, if you are a data scientist, if you want to understand your end user, how do you conduct it? These are some best practices that have been outlined by this popular organization on UX, which is Interaction Design Organization. And I have this PDF and I want to generate an audiobook out of it so that whenever I'm going out on walk, I can listen to this audiobook. Right? So now I have this PDF. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the audiobook generator and I'm click on upload PDF. And here I get to give the name of the file. Let us say user interview guide. And I can choose which accent, as I mentioned, Indian, American, British. And I can also choose the gender, the voice of that audiobook. And then I can select the file. Right? I click on choose file. I come to that folder, which contains that document. Right? So let me just search where that document is. Yes, so this is where the document is. Let me just search for it. So this is also a problem. We're searching for the document here because there's so many documents in this. Right, so here you go. So this is the document, right? And I upload it, and then it gets uploaded, and as you can see, you will receive an email once the processing is complete. So I close this and I wait. Right. In the meantime, let us understand what is happening behind the scenes now that I upload the PDF file. Right, so this is how you can choose all these accents, these 3 accents and the voice, right? And Google's APIs also have a wide variety of other accents and functionalities also available. We'll see what those accents are, what exactly are those capabilities available. Now, this is what's happening behind the scenes. You have uploaded the PDF, and now the PDF is going to be uploaded to Google Cloud Storage. So we're going to use cloud storage. Why cloud storage? Why not a database? Because one thing, Google's APIs need the data to be in the cloud storage. And the other aspect is cloud storage is cheap storage because you're using unstructured data. lot of data. Particular PDF files can be very huge, PDFs, audio files, right? So we're going to actually store the input and also the output, the audiobook, in the Google Cloud Storage. So first things first, as we speak, now the file is getting uploaded to the Google Cloud Storage bucket. And once the file is uploaded to Google Cloud Storage, the next step is Computer Vision API is going to use optical character recognition, Google's OCR, and it is going to extract the text content, and it is going to store that content in the form of a dictionary object. Meaning, let us say the document has 4 pages. So it will say the dictionary object will be like page 0, that's a key, and it will have the content in the first page. Page 1, another key, right? Key value page 1, and then you have content in the second page. Page 2, content in the third page. Right? So that's how a text dictionary, which will contain the content of the PDF, gets recognized. Right? And we're going to use Computer Vision API. The reason why we use that is it's actually very powerful, very accurate compared to using libraries like PIPDF to extract the PDF content. So that's what we did was, like all the students, they explored multiple avenues and they figured out that this Computer Vision API actually gave them the best results. That's the reason why we went for this Computer Vision API. And now that the text object is entered, is available, the next step is to send this content, this text dictionary, to the second API that we are going to use, Text-to-Speech API. Now, Text-to-Speech API will synthesize the text input, will synthesize the content across all these pages, and will generate the audiobook. This is where your custom voices, accents, everything are going to be available. They're going to be input to this API. And this API is going to in turn call machine learning models in the background that are automatically going to map those voices to the content inside this book. Right? And then once you are done with that, once you build the text-to-speech API, right? Now the next step is, now the audiobook has been generated, and this generated audiobook is now available in cloud storage. Right? But we are not going to stop there. So what we're also going to do is we're also going to build a search engine on top of it. Right? So we're going to send a notification to the user. Once the audiobook URL is available, the user will get an email that talks about the URL. So where he can actually access the URL. Right? So we also need to make some permission level changes so that the audiobook that gets stored, created in the cloud storage bucket, users can access it through the URL. Right? And then finally, search engine gets built. That's all the content is going to be indexed, and it's going to be available as part of database. It's stored in the database, and you can actually go ahead and start searching for content inside that audiobook. Right? So this is how the end-to-end audiobook generator pipeline works. And this is the tech stack for audiobook generator. Just like our earlier products, we are using Google Cloud as the storage, as the hosting for this entire product. We use App Engine, we use Google Cloud Storage, we also use Cloud Run containers. And backend, we're going to use MongoDB, where all the data is going to be stored, the URL, the metadata about the file that is being uploaded. All the metadata is stored in MongoDB. We also use MySQL to store some aspect of the content part of it to just speed up the search. And then we use everything with respect to Python. Everything is written in Python, right? And the front end is Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. So all the website that you have just seen, right? So that website is actually built using jQuery, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. Now let us see what happens behind the scenes, because you also need to understand how you can get. Let us say you want to build this exact thing, right, by yourself. Right. So how are you going to actually build it? First thing, you're going to first import the necessary libraries. That's all the libraries that are required. And you have all this Google Cloud related libraries from Google Cloud package. We need this Vision library, which will help us to call the Vision API, and the storage aspect, and the text-to-speech package. So this will help us upload to Google Cloud Storage, and text-to-speech will help us convert that text-to-speech. And then you have this credentials.json file. So this is actually very important. If you go to Google Cloud, how are you going to programmatically call all the resources in Google Cloud? So you need to create that access aspect of it. So in order to do that, what you need to do is you need to go to IAM and admin, right? And then you need to create something called a service account, right? So you go to service account, you create an account, right? And that account should have all the permissions, all the necessary permissions. Let's say here it is Phantom Drive is the name of that account, right? I go here, I click on this, it's already an account that is created, and I can see that it is the account has permissions at the owner level. So this particular account has all the owner level permissions. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually download the key value in the form of a JSON file. Right, so I'm going to actually download, generated the key, and you need to download it, go to keys, right, and then create a key, and like I can add a key, right, I can create a key, or I can upload it, so I can create a key here. Let's create a new key, and it will say, okay, I'm creating JSON key, and once you click on create, it will ask you where do you want to download this. So you need to download this onto your local machine. Now, why are you doing this? Why are we creating the service account? This service account, right, using these credentials, you can control which APIs you want access to, right, and how you can access those APIs from a program, from a Python program, external program. Right? Otherwise, you always need to key in your login credentials to the Google Cloud account, right? So that's the reason why we just use JSON. So one-time effort. You just download these credentials, and then you put into the program. You call that. You set the environment variable with this name, Google Application Credentials. Now, whatever credentials, whatever APIs you have access to, you can directly go ahead and use them. That's the first step, set up your access. Second step is you're going to enable those APIs. You're going to activate those APIs. Right? So you go to here, you go to Vision API. Let's search for the Vision API. And then once you have the Vision API, you're going to actually go there and enable it. So in my case, it's already enabled. But in your case, when you're creating your own cloud storage account, you're going to actually enable this, right? This is Cloud Vision API. And once you are done with the Cloud Vision API, then you also go and enable the text-to-speech API. Right? So this is the API, text-to-speech API. Right? So you can look at, remember, it is actually Cloud text-to-speech, right? So because if it is speech to text, then it is going to generate text from speech. But what we are doing is Cloud text-to-speech. We are kind of creating an MP3 file from text, right? So I can enable it, but this is the documentation for this. That's what are all the parameters that you can use here. Let me just come here, right? So these are all the different attributes that you can use. Let me probably go to, here. That's supported voices and languages. So this will tell you what are all the voices and the speeches that it can support. As you can see, these are all the different languages it supports: Afrikaans, Arabic, right? And also even in Arabic, the different dialects. Even in Indian, right? So you have Bengali India, Hindi, basically Bengali language, right? You have Spanish, different dialects. As you can see, there are so many different dialects that you can think of. And gender-wise, you have male and female. So those are the two genders that they support. Okay, and how do you pass this? We'll also see that, right? But the idea is this: you need to activate these two APIs, right? Now, let us see how programming-wise you do this. Now you actually upload this, right? So the first thing is we need to create a Flask application, and then as you can see, this is /audio. So this is the root. This is the page that gets rendered when you visit this URL, audio URL, right? And that audio URL will actually showcase whatever audiobooks are already generated, right? And it also provides you an option to upload an audio, upload a PDF, right? Once you click on upload a PDF, then what happens is you're going to be now passed to this context root, send audio, right? Where it is going to extract the name of the file. It is also going to extract the voice option. Remember the option that we selected, gender, and it is going to initiate a thread in the background, right? That is what this executor.submit is doing. Executor is a package that lets Flask application spin up a thread in the background, right? And it is going to execute, call it, right? And the syntax for this is you call the function audio_upload. And to that function, you pass these as input parameters, audio_upload, right? So now if you go to audio_upload, so that's a method, right? So that actually is going to be called, right? If I just come to audio_upload, so this is the audio_upload method. Okay, now what is happening here? This is where the PDF file is getting processed, right? So as you can see, the PDF file is going to be now it has to be uploaded to Google Cloud. But before uploading it, I'm actually sharing storing the metadata about the file in the database, in the MongoDB. This is where I'm actually storing the MongoDB database, right? And then I'm going to use the credentials, the JSON file, right? And then I'm going to actually go create a bucket, right? So I'm going to call this method, right? So I'm going to get a bucket, Google Cloud Storage bucket, right? And I'm going to upload it to the Google Cloud Storage bucket, right? So this is where the file is getting uploaded, and I also am creating the URL. So this is the typical, this is the name of the bucket. Fan drive is the name of the bucket, and the file got uploaded to this Google Cloud Storage bucket, right? And then once the file is uploaded to the Google Cloud Storage bucket, now I'm going to call this async_detect document method. So this is where the Vision API gets called. So now we have the file is uploaded, right? The next step is let the Cloud's Vision API process the content. Now what is going to happen here? Async_dec, right? So upload_Bob, code for that is here. Once you click on upload_Bob, right, it is going to upload this file to the bucket, right? And then once you call the Vision API, this is what is going to happen. Asynchronously detect the text, right? So you're going to tell what kind of file you uploaded. Right now, we're only supporting PDF files. We're also going to say how many pages should be grouped. So actually what happens is this API by default outputs content in the form of JSON, right? And what we said was group or generate one JSON file for each page, right? It is going to look at this basically code that you'll get directly from the Google documentation, right? So you're going to get the source where the file is, the cloud storage URL, right? And you're also going to create a similar file in the destination, or the output in the destination, right? So it is going to also get the output, and then it is going to trigger the synchronous request, right? It is going to now start processing the file one after another, right? And it's going to generate all those files, and all the files that are generated. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a text dictionary, right? So the dictionary will look like something like, say, page 0. This is how the dictionary is going to look like. Output is going to look like. It will be something like page 0, right? This sample content, let us say, on all the content of page 1, right? And then page 1, right? All the content in page 1. Like that, it will be created for all the pages. So that is what this code is doing here. And now once this dictionary is available, right, the next step, if you come here again, if you come to this audio_upload method, right? So here, what we have done is we have created the file here, right? So we have detected the text from Vision API. Now the next step is generating the audiobook. This is where audio generate method is going to be called. Now audio generate method is going to be called here. This is the audio generate method. And this audio generate method, as you can see, what it does is it has collected the text as input. It also has the name, voice, and gender, which is the input that we have collected from the user. And then it is going to call the text-to-speech API here. Right, the text-to-speech API here, it will based on the gender selected, based on the dialect selected, we're going to curate that API call, right? And we're going to directly call that API to this library, to this package here. And then we are going to now round the text. Basically, we're going to now combine the output of each page into one file, because we need one audiobook that contains, let us say, there can be multiple JSON files. If you look at dictionaries, text dictionary, you are having one page. At page level, you're extracting content. Now you're going to extract the output from all these different pages into one audio file, right? Otherwise, what happens is you get one audio file, one MP3 file for each page. So in order to prevent that, we're running this for loop. We're getting all the blocks, how many blocks are there, and then we are trying to combine all of them, and then we are going to create that output file, right? And then again, we are going to now upload that file into the cloud storage bucket, right? So this is how the entire file upload has happened, right? And once the file is uploaded, right, the user will get notified. So I should be getting an email, right, at this point of time. And then once I get the email, I come here, I again refresh this page. Let us see, like, if this file, as you can see, the audiobook is available now. I click on audiobook. Right? This is how the URL comes in. Hopefully, you guys are able to hear the audiobook. Right? So this is how you actually create an audiobook. As you can see, it's not as difficult. So generally, without using APIs, probably we need to copy it multiple times. We need to build all these models behind the scenes from scratch, right? So a model to recognize text in a PDF file, a model to probably convert text to speech, right? And that would take a lot of time. The advantage that we have with Google APIs is they're pretty accurate, first thing. Let us say if they're not accurate. Let us say you're not happy with this model, right, with the output of this model. Then what you can do is we can build on top of these APIs. How do we probably train this with our own data for that matter and try to tweak it. Right? But for now, what's more important is we get output, we get to build an AI product in a very short span of time. As you can see, that you should be able to build all this in a day or two, this entire product. Right? What's more important is you being clear about the pipeline, end-to-end view of the pipeline. Right? So this is how you actually build an audiobook generator from scratch. Right? And yeah, so if you have any questions, we can discuss. And this is how you are actually going to, if you want to build more of these products, you can definitely look at the Feedback First program. And you can also visit the website, right, this phantom.app, to try out generate your own audiobook. We create an account, upload a PDF, generate an audiobook, and then